Alright guys, Rich here from the RC Network, and it's upgrade time for my team associated RC8B3e. Now it's hard to believe that this kit can actually use any upgrades, but I wanted to lighten up a couple of things on it just to get it ready for an indoor clay track. So of course with that, turn to my friends over at Avid RC and Lunsford Titanium Products to produce a couple of items here for the B3e. Now with that, I'm going to be changing out the shock towers. This is going to be the full carbon set from Avid. I will have links in the video description to each one of these items, so stay tuned for that. These are the carbon towers, and this will definitely lighten it up quite a bit. So these are a full set of carbon towers. You also get some little aluminum standoffs for the shocks, I believe. And once you're done, you're going to be able to save just a little bit of weight from the machined aluminum ones that come stock on the kit. Now the next thing, the huge item here, these are the Lunsford Titanium pillow balls. These things are cool, and of course Mr. Snyder over at Short Course World definitely recommended these, and these were a really cool item just to lighten up those all steel pillow balls that are included in the B3e. So this will lighten it up quite a bit. Stay tuned later in the video. I'm going to show these things installed on here and then also give you some weight comparisons between the two. Now of course I don't have the pillow balls or the shock towers off of it, so I'm going to have to pull those off, do a little weight comparison, and then in the final video, or the final portion of this video, you'll actually see the weight savings overall on the vehicle. So I'm going to do a quick little weigh-in right now of my vehicle, battery, all set to go, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I have my RC8B3e all ready to run, full body, pins, battery, wheels and tires, everything that you need to basically just turn it on and go. Now this is in full stock configuration. I'm running the aluminum shock towers, the regular steel pillow balls, and everything else is pretty much factory stock on this thing. So got my trusty little Cuisinart stand scale right there, and I'm going to go ahead and lift up the actual camera just so you guys can see the actual weight of it. So right here we're looking at right about 7.61 pounds. So 7.607 pounds is what it's reading at. Pretty much actually very lightweight for an 8-scale buggy, but want to make it just a little bit lighter and create a little bit more horsepower with that. So stay tuned to the latter part of this video and you'll see it installed, and also a weight comparison of the two types of items. So if you don't want to get the carbon shock towers but you do want the titanium pillow balls, you'll see the weight difference between the two. Alright, and I'm back now, and I went ahead and got not only the Lunsford and Avid items installed on my RC8B3e, but I also installed just a few other items. I had some stuff in the shop here, and I was just kind of weighing. I got onto a kind of a weighing frenzy of from part to part, and just try to see, how much more weight I could squeeze off of this RC8B3e electric buggy. So went ahead and did some weigh-ins, and I'm going to try and have slides up as I go through these just to show you some of the weight differences on the parts. So went ahead and got everything installed that I mentioned earlier, some extra parts too, so I'm going to mention those as I go through this. So the first thing, and probably the biggest weight savings, were the titanium pivot balls. Now the stock pivot balls, I'm going to do all this in grams. It's just a little bit easier to just do a precise gram weigh-in. 59 grams for all four of the steel pivot balls, the stock ones. Now the Lunsford titanium ones, 32 grams, so quite a bit of weight savings. Almost half was knocked off of the weight of those steel. Next item here, this is going to be the front shock tower, 34 grams for the aluminum one. We knocked it down to 20 grams for the carbon fiber one. Now that is including the standoffs. You're going to notice that I have new Avid aluminum standoffs on these things, so quite a bit of weight savings. So if you're planning on still running outdoor and only run like the rear one, these are available separately or as a kit. The rear one, I believe, is a 4mm carbon. Pretty good. If you don't want to run the front carbon, I understand that on an outdoor track, inside a little bit different. So next one here is going to be the front shock tower. So the front aluminum 31 grams with the steel standoffs. Now the new front one is going to be 18 grams with the aluminum standoff. So quite a bit of weight savings overall with those 3 items there from Lunsford and Avid RC. Now, of course, I couldn't leave well enough alone. I added on this new Trifecta Lexan wing. These are for 8-scale buggies. Pretty cool little package here. This actually comes with 2 wings and 2 wickers and 1 set of hardware for the 2 wings. Pretty cool design. I'm going to try and link Tessmann's video in the video description for you guys so you can check out how he sets it up. But I went ahead and set it up kind of per his recommendation and saved a little weight. I still need to do some cutouts on it, but really nice design. Quite a bit of weight savings from the stock kind of hard plastic one here. So nice all in the end. But those items for the hard plastic one, 50 grams. Not too much of a weight savings, but 46 grams before I start doing some of the cutouts here up in the top section. So 4 grams savings, and there's some hardware in there and whatnot. So the next item here, I did add on some wing buttons from Avid RC. These are the 1/10 scale wing buttons, and I wasn't really going for a weight savings. It was a bling factor on this one. So these are the 1/10 scale. I know it's a 1/8 scale. The only difference on the 1/8 scale ones are a little bit wider, so I think these will hold up pretty well. But anyways, pretty much the same weight as the stock plastic buttons, and I'll bring this in closer here in just a couple of minutes. Now the last few items are going to be wheels and tires, and what's so important about wheels and tires is that is actually rotational weight. The first thing I did was I switched over from the stock serrated aluminum wheel nuts, these are 17mm wheel nuts, to these new Avid lightened ones. These things are pretty cool, and they're very, very minimal. You can kind of see how everything's been cut off of these things, so they're like a 3-sided now instead of a 6-sided. So pretty cool weight savings as well. For all 4, 6 grams on the stock ones. Guess what? 50% weight savings, 3 grams on the new Avid ones. So I know it's quite a small fraction, but once you start adding up all of these things, it'll lead to a pretty big weight savings. Now for the last thing, that big rotational item, went ahead and mounted up some brand new Proline Electron MC compound tires. Remember, I'm going to be running this on an indoor clay track now, up to their new Velocity lightweight wheels. These things are pretty cool, and I'll show you here the differences so you can kind of see and hear the ribbing inside. Let me go ahead and grab a stock Velocity wheel. You can kind of see there's additional ribbing. Maybe good for an outdoor track, but indoor track we don't need quite as much. And we've lightened those wheels and tires by a little bit. So quick weight, I already had the non-lightweight ones glued up, so I couldn't really do a weight savings on the wheels only. But let's check that out. Stock. For 4 wheels and tires of the non-lightweight ones, we're looking at, let's see here, 413 grams, and these have about 3 to 4 packs off of them, so a little bit of rubber lost on these. But on these new lightweight ones, 401 grams. So remember, rotational weight, that's almost everything in RC. If you can lighten that up, definitely helps. Well, I'm going to get everything positioned so we can do a final weigh-in of this team associated RC8B3e and see what the weight savings really was. Alright, so I got everything ready to weigh in this RC8B3e. Wanted to show you quickly some of the parts on this thing. I still need to CA glue the shock towers, but right here you're checking out those new carbon fiber shock towers with those anodized aluminum shock standoffs. They are slightly smaller than the stock ones, but nonetheless the stock screws fit on there perfectly. Now as far as those titanium pivot balls, great look at those things right there. Super nice and shiny silver, that beautiful titanium finish that Lunsford is definitely known for. Lunsford only uses the absolute best titanium. Keep that in mind too when you're shopping around. There's lots of companies out there that use crappy titanium. Let's take a look at that rear wing. Very nice design. Has kind of this inner kind of divider in here that just bolts on as well. It's not really glued on or anything. And then of course that that plastic wicker deal right there. And then also mentioned some of the cutouts right there, kind of hard to see, but you can cut out multiple areas in here to just tune the wing and give you different downforce on the rear. So I kind of set this up to Ty's specific direction. So if it's good enough for Ty, I think it's good enough for me. So on over to the lightened wheels, and of course those great Electron tires, and then you're seeing those Avid wheel nuts. So those things are pretty cool, drilled out even, and you know, just minimized to the absolute minimum. So, well guys, let's do the weigh-in. I can't wait to see what this thing weighed in. I kind of sneak peeked it already, so I kind of already know. Really happy with the weigh-in of it. Got it set to pounds now, just because that's what we did originally. Let me go ahead and set this on here. There we go. And it looks like, I'm going to go ahead and lift the camera up for you guys so you guys can check that out. And we're up to 7.45 pounds. So if you do it all into grams, looks like we have about a 74 gram weight savings overall, which isn't bad. So you know, if you guys kind of equate that to a horsepower gain, that is what I'm going for. I have no issue with horsepower with that Reedy motor and that RX-8 Gen 2, but it's always good to lightweight things a little bit to have a little bit additional horsepower. So, well guys, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this long video that I've produced. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to post those on down below. And as always, thumbs up and subscribe. That's it for now, guys. Over and out.